The parliamentary maze is coming into session, and the reason is very simple. There's a new dawn, there's a new page in parliamentary democracy. There's an 8th parliament about to take office. The parliamentary maze is coming into session. The clerk and the clerks at table about to walk. So, the clerk and the clerks at table about.
Now, who will be in the chair? Now, what we are waiting to see, Elting, is what he says about whether or not he has been served with the injunction on the Assin-North MP, because we understand he is in the chamber, Elting.
That is something that all of us are waiting to hear the directive that will come from the clerk's office. My information is that if he has been served with the injunction from the High Court, he will read it out to members of Parliament and instruct that because of the injunction placed on the Assin-North MP, he will have to excuse himself from the chamber. If there is protestation and if he resists that directive, the next stage will be the clerk to direct the marshal to get him out of Parliament physically, the Chamber of Parliament, and that will be it. The marshal will move in, take him out of the chamber, because at this stage, and as far as the court directive is concerned, he cannot hold himself as duly elected by the people of Assin-North, and that is clear cut.
It's about to say in the chamber. Let's go live into the chamber right now. Okay, we'll bring you that audio. We have it.
Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic. Endow members of Parliament and ministers of state with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of government, this land and people may be well and truly served, and thy good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. Amen. O God, grant us a vision of our country, fair as it might be, a country of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a country of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a country of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service, and honor shall be given to the deserving, a country of peace, where government shall rest on the will of the people, and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen. I'll start. I'll start. Honorable members elect, pursuant to Standing Order 8.3, I, Cyril Pabna Otininsia, Clerk to Parliament, acting as chairman of the first sitting of Parliament, do invite you to this August sitting today, Thursday, the 7th day of January 2021, at 7 minutes after midnight, for the purpose of electing a speaker and administering the oaths of office. Honorable members elect, I have the singular pleasure to inform you that I have received from the chairperson of the Electoral Commission the rate of elections for the December 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections, and I shall proceed to read the communication. Letter dated 23rd December 2020. Addressed to Clerk to Parliament House, Accra. Pursuant to Regulation 43 2B of the Public Election Regulations 2020, we submit the names of elected candidates for the 2020 parliamentary election held on 7th December 2020 for your action. Please find attached the names of the elected candidates and their respective constituencies and rate of election for the constituencies. Thank you. Signed, Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman Operations for Chairperson. Honorable members-elect, in accordance with Order 8.2 of the Standing Orders, I am satisfied that the quorum is present in this House for the election of the Speaker. Honorable members-elect, Clause 1 of Article 95 of the 1992 Constitution requires that a Speaker of Parliament be elected by members of Parliament from among persons who are members of Parliament or qualified to be elected as members of Parliament. May I also refer you to Standing Order 8.4, which states as follows: no person shall be proposed as Speaker unless that person has given his consent to be nominated. It is also important to draw your attention to Standing Order 8.5 of the House, and I quote: a member addressing himself to the clerk shall propose such person to the House as its Speaker, and shall move that such person do take the chair of this House as Speaker, which motion must be seconded without debate. I now invite nominations for the election of the Speaker. Honorable Harun Iduso, minority.
Mr. Clerk, thank you very much for the opportunity. In accordance with Article 95 of the 1992 Constitution, and in particular Order 8 of our Standing Orders, 8.5, I beg to move that the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin do take the chair of this House as Speaker. I beg to move. Now, Speaker, the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin, Mr. Clerk, the Honorable Alban Suman Kingsford Bagbin was born on September 24, 1957 at Sombo in the Upper West region of Ghana. He currently serves as Second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's 4th Republican Parliament and is the Honorable Member of Parliament for Nadoli Kalio constituency.
In the 7th Parliament. We serve in the 7th Parliament.
He currently serves as the Second Deputy Speaker of Ghana's 4th Republican Parliament and the 7th of it.
7th Parliament. 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic.
7th Parliament of the 4th Republic. He served as Second Deputy Speaker. Bagbin is popularly called, as we all know him, he's a product of the University of Ghana, Legon, and the Ghana School of Law. He was called to the bar in 1982 Among his academic qualifications include a certificate on the privatization of public utilities from Isami, Tanzania, an executive master's in governance and leadership from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration, and an ordinary doctorate, LLD, from the University of Professional Studies, Ghana. He received the Best Performing Minister Award in the year 2012 and the Exclusive Man of Africa 2017 Year Award in Governance. He is a prominent legal practitioner of high standing, and he ventured into a turbulent field of politics in 1992 on account of his peerless tenure of the Nadoli-Kalio seat over the past 27 years. Bagbin is best known in Ghana's parliament as the father of the house. Many of you say, "Father, oh father," because of his long-standing experience, the feat of 27 years service to the Parliament of Ghana. Now even 28 with January added. He was among the 3 wise men and is a 3-star leader. He served as minority leader and majority leader and second deputy speaker, all between 2001 and 2018. What more could he aspire for than to be the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament? He led the NDC Parliamentary Caucus to put in measures and participated immensely with his hard work. He's a very courageous and frank person, principled to a fault, and his passion has always been to champion Ghana's multi-party democracy and to create a congenial environment for the total utilization of Ghana's human and natural resources to the benefit of all. The Honorable Bagbin strives to get the country to achieve total parliamentary independence in order to position the House to play its proper role in the country's current political dispensation. Parliament for him is the fulcrum of multi-party democracy and should therefore be supported and strengthened to hold the executive to account for its stewardship. He's led us in many times to demand oversight and to strengthen our democratic processes. As many of you may recall, the Honorable Bagbin occupied some ministerial portfolios, including the Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Minister for Health. He further held numerous public sector positions, including Chairman of the Water Sector Reforms Advisory Committee, Vice Chairman Appointments Committee of Parliament from 1997 to the year 2001, Vice Chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee 1994 to 1996, Chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee from 1994 to 1997. A very proud parliamentary record and service to the Parliament of Ghana. He served as Chairman of the Committee on Constitutional Parliamentary Affairs of Parliament 1997 to 2001 from 2013 to 2014. He also proudly served as Chair of the Public Accounts of 2001 and 2004, where he worked to make some savings over the leakages in the public purse. He naturally was chair of the Business Committee of Parliament. He's chaired the Special Budget Committee of Parliament. He's chaired the board of the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority from 2009 to 2010 and served as member of the board of directors of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. He's a founding member of the Global Organization of Parliamentarians Against Corruption because he believes strongly that graft and economic crime has debilitating effects on our democracy and on our economy. He's also served as member of the African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption from 1997 to 2010. He's been council member and he's played other respected roles. Member African, Caribbean, Pacific, European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly in Brussels from 2013 to 2014. Participant National Conference of State Legislators, USA Conference from 2001 to 2010. A decade of it he participated in there. He is now a resource person in parliamentary practice and procedure. So he would not come here with doubt as to what Parliament should be doing and what should not be doing. He's very familiar with our standing orders and our rules of procedure as chairman of the Standing Orders Committee. He is executive. He's held other positions, including participating in other congresses of the National Democratic Congress. The clerk chair, I beg to move that the Honorable Assin-North MP-Elect, I beg to move and nominate him that in accordance with Standing Order 85, the Honorable Assin-North MP-Elect, I have his consent to the nomination duly signed. I beg to move that the Honorable Bagbin do take the chair of this House as Speaker. I beg to move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Any seconder?
Chair, with respect.
Honorable Afenyoma.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, you had in your preliminary remarks referred to some communication, the basis upon which we are here. You referred to a communication from the Electoral Commission. I am aware that the jurisdiction of a high court in this country has been invoked in respect of a constitutional provision under Article 94(1). Mr. Chair, as a matter of on a point of order, where is it taking us to? Mr. Chair, this is alien. This is alien. It's alien. It is alien.
Order.
Mr. Chair, as a matter of preliminary.
I need to at least hear the member.
Mr. Chair, as a matter of preliminary inquiry from my side, I would want to find out from you whether you are on notice of a proceeding or an order from the High Court in respect of an application by Michael Akuma Nina.
Listen.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair.
Wait, Honorable. At the appropriate time.
Mr. Chair, what I am saying, if my colleagues would indulge me, if they listen to me, whatever they have, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, I believe that the rule of this House enjoins us to listen to a member in silence. Mr. Chair, if I make my submission and they have any view contrary to the preliminary objection and preliminary inquiry I am making, they would be able to make a proper input. That is the rule. It's not a shouting. So, Mr. Chair, all I want to inquire from you is that you have indicated that you have received communication from the Electoral Commission. I am aware of a process that has been mounted. I am aware of a process.
Honorable. I'll indulge. I just wanted to listen to what he's saying.
Mr. Chair, can continue. All I am saying is that you have given an indication that you've received a communication, which communication has resulted in even the program outline of the inauguration of the 8th Parliament. I want to find out from you, Mr. Chair, whether or not you have received a court order in respect of a plaint by Michael Ankuma Nina, which order makes reference to any person on the list as you provided.
All right.
Specifically.
Okay, sit down.
So, Mr. Chair, I believe that a clear.
So, Honorable.
Mr. Chair, I believe that a response
Wait, maybe I should let
for the sake of the records is important.
Order.
I believe that a response from this house, a response from you is important because, Mr. Chair, if a public process is set on you, it is important that we are put on notice as to whether or not indeed you have been served, and if you've been served, what steps are you taking in respect of that?
I've heard it.
Mr. Chair, I rest my case.
Yes, Honorable Muntaka.
Mr. Clerk Chairman. Mr. Clerk Chairman, I'm surprised that you kept me standing because point of order is part of the rules of this House. And I was surprised you kept me standing. Mr. Clerk Chairman, I want to refer my colleague to the Constitution, 95. Specifically Article 95(3). And your permission, I read, no business shall be transacted in Parliament other than an election to the office of Speaker at any time when the office of Speaker is vacant. Yes. And Mr. Clerk, open nomination. And Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, Clerk, I was surprised that you kicked the motion in compliance with this constitutional provision, as you yourself rightly quoted. And you allow another member to be deviating from what is before us when it has been moved, and you know that when a motion is moved, that is what is before the House. And the only thing that could be done is to second. And if someone has a counter, then that counts.
I said they should.
So, Mr. Clerk Chairman, in order not to continue wasting the time of this House and members, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Haruna Iddrisu.
Honorable Osechi Mensah-Bonsu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think the issue raised by Mr. Chairman, the issue raised by the member for Efutu is very germane. You have indicated to us that you have received a writ of elections for constituencies from the Electoral Commission. Mr. Chairman, what you did not inform us about is, first, the number of constituencies. It doesn't then the persons who have been duly elected as members of Parliament. Mr. Chairman, beyond that, Mr. Chairman, this is not, Mr. Chairman, order. Mr. Chairman, respectfully, this House applies itself to the orders of this House. We are not in the streets. Mr. Chairman. Order. Mr. Chair, the people who will qualify to participate in this voting should be a matter of interest to all of us. It is the reason why, in making the announcement, you related to the fact that you have the relevant correct number to transact business. Mr. Chairman, my colleague, who is the deputy leader for the majority caucus, raised a preliminary issue. First, we want to know the eligibility. Of persons herein assembled. Mr. Chairman, the honest inquiry from the honorable member, he wants to know the eligibility and qualification of the members of Parliament elect who will qualify to participate in voting. Mr. Chairman, it is the reason why before the motion was moved by my colleague, the honorable member for Tamale South, who is until recently the minority leader, right? And now struggling to find space for himself. He made an earnest inquiry. Who qualifies to participate in the voting? And he says to you that he's aware that court processes have been served, injuncting. We have gone to court, somebody has gone to court, injuncting one person. And it's not about shouting, it's about applying yourself to due process. It's about applying yourself to due process. Mr. Chairman, this House has been served with due process, injuncting one person from participating in the business. Mr. Chairman, we are aware that the process has been set on the House and it's been set duly on the clerk to Parliament. We want to know, as a matter of preliminary observation and statement and admission from you, whether it is true. If it is true, it will mean that person cannot participate in the voting, and it would not lie in the mouth of people shouting no. It will lie in the bosom of due process, and we have our laws. We apply ourselves to the laws, and if anybody wants to be physical about that, the marshals are here. They will apply the rule to the letter. So, Mr. Chairman, your duty is to tell us today, Mr. Speaker, and just so the member was not out of order, he was not debating, he raised a plenary issue. He first got up, unfortunately, he did not catch your eye, and you allowed my colleague, the Honorable Haruna Dusu, to move the motion. It is still not late. And it's the reason why, before our orders provide that when a motion has been moved, it must be seconded. If it is not seconded, it is not properly before this House. And it is because of that he rose up boldly. This time you recognize him when the motion was not properly before this House, and he raises a point. I just want to reiterate the point that he made for you to tell this House the position of the law. Chairman, I rest my case.
Mr. Speaker, Ghana, Chairman Clerk, this is a country governed by law. And this is a country with institutions given defined mandates and authorities. Mr. Speaker, I've heard the Honorable Afenyo Markins make reference to court proceedings. Let me remind him that courts don't determine elected members of parliament. The sovereign will of the people of Ghana vote. Courts don't determine, courts don't determine, courts don't vote. Courts don't determine.
Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
To my preface, I said institutions have their mandate and authority. The court have a mandate to adjudicate on matters brought before it. But the election of member of parliament is vested in Ghanaian citizens. We are aware that James Jache Kwesen of Assin-North was duly elected Mr. Speaker, as far as we know, no court processes have been served on him personally, as far as we know. That is why he is here, having registered and having been recognized, even by the list of 275 MPs. And the official letter gazetted and remitted to the clerk does include Honorable James Jache Kwesen. He is a law-abiding person. He will fight the merits of any matter in court. But he should not be denied subscribing to his oath as elected member of parliament in the name of some court processes. Mr. Speaker, by Article 117 of the Constitution, civil or criminal process coming from any court or place out of parliament shall not be served on or executed in relation to the Speaker or a member or the clerk to parliament. Yes. Yes.
Leader, it's not a member, does not elect the Speaker.
He is not a member of parliament yet, but that he's here to elect a speaker by the provisions of the Constitution. The same Constitution in Article 95. So, Mr. Clerk Chairman, no court processes have been served on him. And he went through your registration process, having been notified by the official gazette published by the Electoral Commission of Ghana that he was a duly elected member of Parliament for Assin-North. This is what is best known to us. I heard my colleagues say majority. By the official letter conveyed to you by the Electoral Commission, read it for his purposes. It's 137, 137, and therefore there is no political party with a majority. He is counting on the independent candidate. He has not even taken the oath yet for us to know where he wants to belong. If there is any official correspondence on him, share it with us. There is no official communication from him as far as we are concerned by the EC Gazette notification. So get me right. I'm saying that in this country, the legislature is clothed with the mandate of legislation. The judiciary as arbiter and adjudicator. They don't elect. The election of member of parliament is vested in citizens of Ghana. When you are dissatisfied with the outcome of a resource, you go to the arbiter, the court, to seek justice. That is why we are in court, even with the outcome of the presidential election, because we are questioning the legitimacy of the outcome of an electoral commission chairperson who corrects herself 6 times within a day. So, Mr. Speaker, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And in a country, the predictability of the judiciary is important for the future of our democracy. We have followed religiously the ruling in Hohoi, the ruling in Techima South, and the ruling in Assin-North. Ghana will not be a one-man democracy where only the rights of one person and freedoms are respected. I rest my case.
Chairman, we have made an application to you for determination. Mr. Chairman, is it not paradoxical that my colleague, the Honorable Haruna Iglesias, is saying that the determination of the outcome of election is not by the courts, and yet ends up by saying that that is why they are in court looking for redress? That certainly can be warped. It can be warped and contorted, reasoning, but we will forgive him for that. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, Article 116, Clause 1, which he quoted, says, no civil or criminal proceeding shall be instituted against a member of parliament in any court. The member against whom this process has been instituted is not yet a member of parliament. Yes, that is the distinction. Mr. Chairman, you see, Mr. Chairman, people are not even applying themselves to the basic tenets of the Constitution. Mr. Chairman, so an application has been made to you. It is not about getting up to make wild gesticulations. It's about getting up to apply yourself to the Constitution and coming up with superior arguments, not wild gesticulations. That's not the business of this House. The business of this House is about reasoning and rationalization, not getting up to make wild gesticulations. If you have any superior arguments, come out with it. Not rise up in your place and be making wild allegations. This is not a marketplace. Mr. Chairman, so you have a determination to make. Can you make that determination for us in order to move forward? As simple as that. I thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman. The honorable member for Swami made the point that this House Mr. Chairman, the honorable member for Swami made the point that this House is governed by rules. And the fundamental rule governing this House is the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And it was cited partially by the former minority leader. Mr. Speaker, the inquiry that was raised in the preliminary objection relates to service of process on the Clerk of Parliament. That is the substance of the inquiry. Mr. Chairman, the Constitution is very clear that you cannot be served with a process whilst you are attending at Parliament. That is a constitutional problem.
No, performing his function.
Yeah.
Performing his function.
Yes.
It's a clerk. Take your time.
Mr. Chairman.
Take your time.
For the doubting Thomases, Mr. Chairman, for the doubting Thomases amongst us, let me. Mr. Chairman, Article 117 of the Constitution reads as follows: civil or criminal process coming from any court or any place out of Parliament shall not be served on or executed in relation to 1. The Speaker, 2. The Member of Parliament, 3. Listen, 3. The Clerk of Parliament. The Clerk of Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Chairman. So it says that whilst he's on his way to, attending at, or returning from any proceedings of Parliament. Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, you fall within the ambit of Article
117.
You fall within the ambit of Article 117 of the Constitution and Order 22 of our standing orders, which is taken verbatim from the constitutional provision. Now, the inquiry should be, were you attending at Parliament when you were served? And, it's important. Were you attending at Parliament? Were you performing your duties as a clerk
Of Parliament.
And if there was service on you,
Where is the proof?
where is the proof of service? Detailing the official bailiff sent by the High Court
Thank you.
that allegedly served you the process. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, honorable members,
No, go on.
I am speaking in conditional terms in response to the preliminary objection raised by the honorable member for Efutu.
Give me an inquiry.
Because that was a preliminary inquiry, which was reiterated by the honorable member for Swami. And therefore, I am raising an issue of procedural legality. If that is not properly answered, I think the preliminary objection should be dismissed in limine. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Let me respond.
Mr. Chair.
Officers themselves.
Mr. Chair, with the greatest respect to my respected colleague and senior at the bar, the submission is made
is very misleading. The provision is in respect of a matter of which a member of parliament, a clerk, or a speaker or an officer of parliament is a party to. This is not it. Read it well. Learned former Deputy Attorney General. It is when you are affected by the order that the court, that you are as a person, that you have that temporary relief. And you know that. Learned, you know that. As a former Deputy Attorney General, with the greatest respect, I expect not to construe this provision in a manner convenient to you. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, the government of my preliminary inquiry was very simple. Can you, Mr. Chair, inform this House for our records as to whether or not you are in receipt of a court process? Simplicity. And I am happy that the Honorable Harun Edrisi, in his submission, re-echoed the fact that we need our institutions to work for the sake of our democracy. You made that point. If we want our institutions to work, then it is important that we as parliamentarians must submit ourselves to due process, must give confidence to the citizenry that no matter how it is, we will respect court orders. Mr. Chair, an inquiry has been made. No amount of any noise will stop due process from taking effect. We would not allow unnecessary noise. Mr. Chair, if when the learned Attorney General was on his feet, former Deputy Attorney General was on his feet, the backbenchers on this side respected him, and I respect him. I respect him. You better listen to me in silence. If you have a superior argument, get up, seek the attention of chair, and address this House. Stop this noise. Stop this noise. Mr. Chair, we are raising matters of law and follow due process. You better sit down. A caricature of a human being. A caricature of a human being. You have made applications. Let him raise it. Because ultimately, I know this. Because ultimately, the Constitution recognizes that a person who sees you. Mr. Chair, if all of us go on the path that will help the cause of this matter, perhaps I would crave the indulgence of my colleagues to give due regard to Article 105 of the Constitution. Mr. Chair, with your leave, let me perhaps read that aloud and in extenso. A person who sits or votes in Parliament knowing or having reasonable grounds for knowing that he is not entitled so to do commit an offense and shall be liable on conviction to such a penalty as shall be prescribed by or under an act of Parliament. So, Mr. Chair, even if determination should come from him, this determination, Mr. Chair, must come from you. And that is all. Let us know for the records. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair Clerk, we have heard arguments on due process, and to assure you that we are law-abiding citizens. What we do know is that service on a member, and once you are elected, my colleague knows law, is an irrebuttable presumption that he is an elected member of Parliament. until the merits of his case are so determined, he remains the elected representative of the people of Assin-North. But for us to appreciate your due process, we should know when service was done, the bailiff who came to undertake the service. All that has to be tabled. But for our purposes, the Honorable Jache has not been served any process. He has gone through lawful process, having been elected, and Parliament hasn't been notified. What I stated is that the courts are only called upon to resolve disputes and conflict relating to the election of Member of Parliament. He is duly elected and has not been served any purpose. He went through his registration. His name is listed here. It's listed in the official gazette.
You should give us the proof of service.
So we need the proof of service to begin with, whilst we would also raise preliminary constitutional issues, because even to serve, there must be a speaker. As we speak now, there is no speaker in the Republic of Ghana. I thank you.
I need to.
Honorable members, my view is that the preliminary objection relates to whether or not this House is properly constituted for the purpose of electing Speaker or Deputy Speakers. Now, today, this afternoon, late afternoon, I received an order of interlocutory injunction from the Cape Coast High Court, which was served on me, Clerk to Parliament, on Wednesday, 6th January 2021 at 4:55 p.m. And the order was issued by His Lordship, Justice Kwesi Boakye, Justice of the High Court sitting in Cape Coast. The registrar Chief Registrar. Ustaz Hamza. And
Chairman, no. He said Hamza. Hamza is not a full name. We want proof of service and the full details of of service, the full name of the bill.
Honorable members, this is an order. This is an order. In the matter of Article 99 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and in the matter of Section 16 of the Representation of People Law 1992, PNDC Law 284 as amended, and in the matter of parliamentary elections for the Assin-North constituency held on 7 December 2020, and the matter of a petition by Michael Ankoma Nimfa challenging the declaration of Electoral Commission of James Kwesi, aka James Jechi Kwesi, as Member of Parliament elect for the Assin-North constituency pursuant to the parliamentary elections held on 7 December.
this application, having come on Monday, 4th day of January 2020, on 4th day of January 2021, before His Lordship Justice Kwesi Boakye, Justice of the High Court, sitting in Cape Coast, and upon reading the affidavit deposed by Michael Ankuma Nimfa, applicant hearing in support thereof, and upon hearing Frank Davis, Esquire, and with him Gary Nimaku and Frank Kusi, counsels for and on behalf of the applicant, hearing together with Abraham Amaliba, Esquire, and with him Edu Yeboah of counsel and on behalf of James Kwesi, aka James Jechi Kwesi, first respondent. It is hereby ordered that James Kwesi, aka James Jechi Kwesi, first respondent hearing, is hereby restrained from holding himself out as a member of Parliament elect a member of Parliament elect for the Assin-North constituency within the central region of the Republic of Ghana, and further presenting himself to be sworn in as a member of Parliament elect as such until the final determination of the petition filed against him by the applicant hearing, given under my hand and seal of the High Court at Cape Coast, 6th day of January 2021.
The day you go to Nsawa and follow him.
I was duly served, and I am therefore unable to recognize James Kwesi for the purposes of election of Speaker. I will therefore accordingly proceed. Proceed with the conduct of these elections. Honorable members elect, any further nominations? Mr. Chairman, we have a question. Mr. Chairman. Yes, a question. Mr. Chairman. You are not helping me with this.
Honorable Osei Mensah. Chairman, I rise. Chairman, I rise to move that Professor Aaron Chairman Clerk, the Honorable Dr. Ayeni was on his feet. And he was on his feet, elucidating information. Just tolerate him for 1 minute. Let's hear what information he requires from you in respect of the matter, because this record will be important in court. So allow us to hear Dr. Ayeni. You say due process. Hear Dr. Ayeni. He's been on his feet before leader will move his motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
You say Hamza is a registrar.
Mr. Chairman, when I was on my feet the first time, I raised a fundamental issue of legal procedure, due process of law. And, Mr. Chairman, I am aware that Parliament is a master of its own procedure. However, Parliament is subject to the law. And the law of this land is that a procedurally defective service is legally ineffectual, is null and void and of no effect. And therefore, Mr. Chairman, I ask a factual question in relation to proof of service. Can you show the proof of service to my leader? And then also, Mr. Clark, I am aware that the registrar of the Cape Coast High Court is one Mr. Hamza. He's not a bailiff. I have dealt with him in my court practice. The registrar is Mr. Hamza. He's not a bailiff. And therefore, if you are not properly served, that service is not and of no effect. That is unfair.
Honorable Osei Mensah, please, any more nominations?
What is it? Stop what? No, he has spoken. Let the clerk speak. Let the clerk speak. Let him speak first. What are you talking about? My own. Unruly gang. Hey.
The chairman, as far as this house is concerned, you as the chairman has made a determination on this. I will proceed from there. The chairman, I rise to propose that Professor Aaron Mike Okwei do take the chair of this House as the Speaker. Chair, the Right Honorable Professor Aaron Mike Okwei the Speaker of the 7th Parliament of the 4th Republic was born to Mr. E.G.N. Okwei of Osu, Accra, and he was a cocoa merchant. And also to Mrs. Felicia Awusiki Okwei, Nee Azu of Odumase Krobo, and the third of the 7 children on 4th April 1944. Professor Aaron Mike Okwei was brought up at Samakese in the eastern region of Ghana, where he attended the Catholic and Presbyterian basic schools before proceeding to Presbyterian Secondary School, Udumase Krobo, for his O-level, and Apam Secondary School for his A-level. He studied further at the University of Ghana, University of London, and Lincoln A. London. He holds a BA Honors, Political Science, LLB Honors, BL, and PhD degrees, respectively. Chairman, Professor Aaron Michael Okwei's working life has been a combination of private legal practice, lecturing, active politics on the marginalized in society, and pastoral care. Speaker Okwei is a barrister of the Supreme Court of England and Wales and a senior member of the Ghana Bar. As an academic, he achieved the singular distinction of winning within 4 years the coveted international award is considered the highest award in academia. He was a visiting scholar in connection with these awards in London and Virginia, George Mason, United States of America. He was the head of Department of Political Science at the University of Ghana, Legon, from October 1999 to January 2002, and also the Vice President of the Africa Association of Political Science from 1997 to 1999. He has researched and written extensively on good governance, conflicts, political education, decentralization, human rights, military intervention in politics, non-governmental organizations, rural development, parliamentary democracy, and gender. He is a keen advocate of the rights of women, including affirmative action. He's one man who has regularly featured in conferences on gender in this country and abroad. His books and articles have been published in England, Canada, United States of America, South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. His rich experience in African politics has been tapped by many institutions in Ghana and abroad. Professor Michael Okwei is an accomplished diplomat, legislator, politician, among others. Chairman, on the diplomatic landscape, he served as Ghana's High Commissioner to India between 2002 and 2004. As a politician and legislator, he served as the Member of Parliament for Domekwa Benya constituency from 2005 to 2013 January. He was the Minister of Energy 2005-2006, Minister of Communications 2006-2007, and the second Deputy Speaker of the 5th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana between 2009 and 2013. His tenure as Ghana's High Commissioner to India recorded unrivaled achievements, which include the Ghana Kofi Annan Center of Excellence in Information Technology, a showpiece in Africa. The Ghana Presidential Palace and Office Complex, tractors and concession returns to revamp agriculture, and $102 million facility to Ghana, which had 48% grant element, 25 years of repayment period, 5 years moratorium, and 0.5% interest rate per annum. He served as Minister of Energy, as I said, and presided over the deregulation exercise, expansion and maximum application of the Tema oil refinery, unprecedented petroleum exploration, and actually negotiated and signed an agreement between Tullow Oil, which led to the first discovery of oil in Ghana, a recapitalization of the Water River Authority and Electricity Company of Ghana. Those identified steps intensified to resolve same. Chairman, he also presided over the amendment of the VRA Act, the commissioning of the West African Gas Pipeline by President Kufuor, the signing of the Bui Dam Memorandum of Understanding with Sino Hydro Corporation of China in September 2005. As Minister of Communication, Ghana and China signed a $30 million agreement for the National Backbone Project. The World Bank gave Ghana a $40 million concession facility after all the relevant benchmarks had been satisfied in record time. The Ghana Society for the Blind was provided with Braille computer system with the help of the government of India. He was in charge of the initial steps for the divestiture of Westel and Ghana Telecom. Ghana attained record tele-density and rural telephony targets with Chinese assistance. As a parliamentarian, he took keen interest in legislation and made meticulous endeavor in detecting minute slips. He made brilliant statements and various comments and contributions, which were rich in depth. He served on the Committee on Members Holding Office of Profit, Standing Orders Committee, the Committee on Defense and Interior, Committee on Local Government, and the Committee on Communication. The second Deputy Speaker, his evenness and equanimity pleased both sides of the House whenever he presided. Having risen through the ranks to become the Speaker of Parliament for the 7th Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael-Okwe's aura attracted many distinguished personalities to Ghana and to Parliament House, including the guest visit of the first ever sitting Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, Speaker Nancy Patricia Pelosi, who was also granted audience to address the House, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Excellency Mia Motley, who also addressed the House, the Speaker of the House of Representatives Nigeria, Right Honorable Femi Baja Biamila, and the Speaker of Uganda, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, who also visited on the Speaker's invitation and gave a very brilliant lecture on affirmative action and women's participation in politics. As a legislator himself, Right Honorable Professor Okwe's passion for affirmative action led him to initiate measures to advocate for women and children, inclusion, people with special needs, and gender equality. He has also shown interest in the welfare of the marginalized in society, including various donations to persons with disabilities, and sought release of a pregnant woman from the Islam female prisons. Chairman, the Speaker's passion, together with the assistance of leadership of the House, have led to the rapid passing of bills, albeit in a very meticulous fashion, A number of these attracted considerable public interest. The swift pace at which the number of sittings, question time, statements on the floor, and legislations have been heightened under the 7th Parliament led by Professor Okwei is progressively unparalleled. During his tenure, Speaker Okwei presided over 600 plenary sittings and accepted over 3,214 papers, including bills, reports from committees of the House and ministries, departments, and other agencies, waivers, resolutions, conventions, and loan agreements, among others. Speaker Okwei presided over the review of the standing orders to reflect the needs of the House, and it's unfortunate that the House could not adopt the review standing orders before the House came to be prorogued midnight of the 6th of January. Professor Michael Okwei was also the first to have introduced sign language interpretation in Parliament for very obvious benefits of our disabled brothers and sisters. On the 18th of December 2020, the House passed the first ever private members' bill. And these two bills were under the supervision of Professor Michael Aaron Okwei. Mr. Chairman, Parliament has steadily seen various extension works championed by Professor Okwei under the Physical Infrastructure Enhancement Project, which include the Job 600 annex to accommodate offices for all other members of Parliament who hitherto had no offices, Visitors Waiting Center, Drivers Waiting Center, and the Chamber Support Services block. He also spearheaded the facelift of the existing parliamentary chamber. As an academic, Professor Michael Okwei took keen interest in revamping the Parliamentary Training Institute. There are many things that he has done to improve institutional structures in the system and human capital and talent development as well. He's also done a lot to promote staff welfare, and the measures that he has superintended over, the Chairman, are unprecedented in the annals of Ghana's parliament, notably the 7th Parliament. He has also shown keen interest in building a knowledge hub for Parliament as an institution. The ingenuity of Right Honourable Speaker Okwei has provided members of Parliament and staff opportunities to participate in several sub-regional and international learning experiences. He ensured that the rich experiences and learning outcomes are documented and bound for historical references. It is noteworthy that under the leadership of Professor Aaron Michael Okwei, the following books have been published for the first time: The Rulings of the Speaker, Statements on the Floor, Private Members' Bills in Ghana, a guide, addresses by the Speaker and leaders of this House. Mr. Chairman, Professor Michael Okwei employed his diplomatic skills to resolve many conflicts, petitions, and issues brought before him. He would be remembered for resolving international trade issues between Ghana and Nigeria in September 2020, and several ambassadors and international partners have called on Speaker Okwei with regards to pertinent global issues. He is a founding member and a key spokesperson in advocating for Africa's debt cancellation to alleviate the unprecedented socio-economic pressures caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Chairman, the Speaker Okwei, through his personal relationship with the Serbian government, acquired scholarships for 10 Ghanaian students. Through him, many students in Ghana have successfully completed their educational pursuit as he paid for their tuition fees. Mr. Chairman, Speaker Okwei also took upon himself to acquire invaluable assets for Parliament, including the Marine Drive Tourism Enclave and the Aviation Hub at Denton, which spans 20 acres. Finally, Professor Okwei was elected the head boy of USEC during the 80th anniversary of the school. An accompanying citation recognizes various contributions to the school and his pedigree attained nationally and internationally in politics, laws, and development. Professor Aaron Michael Okwe is married to Major retired Mrs. Alberta Boatima Okwe, and they are blessed with children. His hobbies include playing soccer, table tennis, reading, writing, and music. Mr. Chairman, it is this person that I commend to all of us, Chairman, that this House, that he takes the chair of this House as Speaker. The Chairman, appropriately, I do so move. Thank you very much.
Clerk.
Any
Point of order. Point of order. Sit down. You did the same thing. Sit down. Come on, my microphone is live. He did the same thing.
I second. Mr. Chair.
No, you cannot speak. You cannot speak. I am up on a point of order also.
Mr. Chair.
You will not be able to speak here. Because I'm also up on a point of order. The way you rose to arrest my speaker is the same way I am rising to arrest him. I am rising on a point of order. Mr. Clerk, I am rising on a point of order. I am challenging you that the person who gave you the rate, that you are the order, is the deputy registrar who stands. He is not a bailiff. And we are rising on a point of order. You must respect my leader.
Mr. Chair.
No, leader, you cannot proceed. You must speak.
Are you a leader?
He must speak. Respect our leader. Second the motion.
Mr. Chair.
I want to optimize I said earlier. I second the motion.
I rise to second the motion. Ably moved by Honorable Oseche Mensah. I stood up for do you believe in this? Chairman Clerk, just for the record, I want you to lay transparently the service and processes that were served on you on the table, with evidence of the bailiff and hour and time of which he signed to serve you. Lay it for our purposes as is required of law before we proceed further. We want proof of service late, but I'd like to inspect it to satisfy myself and to find out from you, Chairman Clerk, whether when you receive service, you actually communicated same to the MP-Elect as is required by law. What time you serve? So lay the proof of service and let us know whether when you receive service, because my colleagues that are senior lawyers in the Jerigoji versus Issa 1989, the clerk is not the attorney or lawyer for the MP-Elect, and therefore you must establish further whether you serve the MP-Elect those processes. So kindly lay it before the table, the proof of service with evidence of the bailiff who served it. And then whether you have the power you are exercising, my question is whether clerk can take the ruling. Mr. Chair, respectfully, the invitation by Honorable is well grounded. Suffice to state for the records that the MP-Elect, for the records, was in court. And at the time the order was read, he was in court with his own lawyers, and the court records would bear. And as a Ghanaian, it is my duty to inform this House on such facts, so that, Mr. Chair, we all be at peace that perhaps the invitation on you
is even superfluous because the MP-elect himself was present in court when his matter was argued. His lawyers were there. When his case, the ruling was made against him, he was in court. At least for the records. Mr. Chairman.
I will lay the document for the information of the House. The document was served on the clerk to Parliament for my action. So it wasn't served for the purposes of me serving the member.
Personal service. We are talking about injunction. Personal service. We are talking about injunction. Leader. Injunction. An injunction to the House of Chair. An injunction to the House of Chair. You are to the House of Chair. Personally. You are to the House of Chair. Election today.
You are a disgrace. Cyril is a tool in the House of Chair.
So we are watching this unfold on the floor of Parliament, and what we're seeing, if you're joining us and you're listening to us on Joy 99.7 FM, is the leadership on the minority side are now inspecting the documents on the floor right now.
Please, Chairman, please, you should call for order.
What we are seeing right now is the minority leader, Harun Edrisu, who leads the minority side, with a team of his senior members on the minority side, on the NDC side, are inspecting the document. Now I see a police officer, Freeman Tete, who are now stepped in to try and calm the nerves. Heated exchanges now beginning to ensue on the floor right now, and I see that there are some members of Parliament trying to separate others. There are wild gesticulations right in the faces of other members of Parliament. It appears that the gesticulations is directed at the Clerk of Parliament. Obviously, the police representative who heads the Parliament police station and is trying to calm nerves. I see several of the NDC MPs who are aggressively attempting to stop the process from proceeding. This is really fascinating unfolding on the floor of Parliament right now. Now, what is this all about?
How can Parliament be used to perpetrate fraud on the people of Ghana? How can we use Parliament to perpetrate fraud? It's fraud. How can we use Parliament to perpetrate fraud? This is our
elected member of parliament for Medina, who has been speaking into the microphone. As we see this unfold on the floor now. It appears some calm is gradually beginning. I see the marshals now. The marshals are lined up they are protecting the clerks and the officers of parliament from the rest of the house. They formed almost like a barricade of a sort between themselves. You can see that on your screens right now if you're watching us on Joy and tonight. If you're watching us on the JoyNews channel, what you see in your on the shot right now are the marshals who are attempting to shield and protect the clerk of parliament and his other agents from being attacked by the very upset and angry NDC members of parliament right now. I see that the marshals, by the way, they are in charge of parliamentary security, the security of the entire precinct of parliament and the members of parliament themselves. As we see now, some semblance of calm has returned, but we still have Harun Edrisu, who is standing right in the middle, still inspecting the documents. Now, these documents are the documents containing the ruling of the High Court, bordering on whether or not the MP-elect for Assin-North can hold himself as the Member of Parliament-elect. In fact, the court had ruled earlier today that he cannot hold himself out as a Member of Parliament-elect because of the challenge to his ability to his qualification as a Member of Parliament relating to dual citizenship. The argument, the allegation against him, which is still a matter of a court inquiry or hearing, is that he, at the time of filing, was both a citizen of Canada and of Ghana, which is going to court today. The court had granted an injunction against him from holding himself out as a Member of Parliament. That document, the court orders, the court also specified that the Clerk of Parliament be served, so the clerk can enforce the court order to prevent him from being sworn in and participate in the business of Parliament, as we are seeing right now, which we understand has happened. The clerk has announced now, we know now, that indeed has received that notification from the court and has said that as a result of the court order, he cannot recognize Mr. Kwesing, who is the MP-elect for Assin-North, as an MP-elect, and as a result has sparked the controversy that we are seeing unfold on the floor currently. What we are seeing is several members of the NDC.
Here and see what will happen to him. This is the Chamber of Parliament. Nonsense.
We're seeing on our television now, right now, some of the members of parliament now engaged in a heated exchange with some of the marshals. The marshals are the security agents who are charged with protecting the house. Now, what I'm seeing in my shot now is that the Clerk of Parliament now has a personal protection. One of the lead marshals had moved now to stand behind him to guard him because of all that is beginning to unfold right now. I see other members of parliament are attempting now to try and calm the NDC members who are standing. Nothing seems to be happening right now. Winston, this is really, we knew something was going to happen, but obviously it's gone out of hand right now.
As Evans, and look, I've been watching the whole drama unfold, and I think that there are better ways to dealing with this than the approach that's been taken by the minority. Okay, now, if you have concerns, the clerk has actually read the writ that was signed to him. He shows you the writ. No, he shows you the ruling of the Cape Coast High Court. once he shows you the ruling of the Cape Coast High Court, if you have any concerns about the ruling as presented to him and as to who might have served him and whether he's being used by the executive, you don't resort to this kind of calling him names that you have to get the police to come into the Chamber of Parliament to calm tempers down. Look, these are persons who have been elected to serve our interests. And for me, that's what saddens me. They're talking, and I mean, earlier this evening, last night, we were talking about the U.S. situation, and I made the point clearly that I didn't want us to go that way. Because if we are the beacon of Africa's democracy, this is not what to expect. I think it's unnecessary. There are better ways to dealing with this than has been done. And if they have any concerns, it started nicely, okay? It started nicely by exchanges. And then it gets into the absurdity. I think that our members of parliament...
I mean, to think that we now see a situation where marshals, security operatives have to surround the clerk of parliament and protect him from members of parliament-elect. It's bad. It's terrible.
Look, and you're hearing comments about, I mean, if you don't protect our democracy, you won't have jobs. That is also uncalled for. Yes, it's important we protect our democracy, and everybody should protect our democracy. But hey, what we are faced with now, all of us and all of them there can ensure that our democracy works. In fact, what they are doing is what is affecting our democracy.
Unfortunately, our entire democracy in jeopardy. As we see,
what you claim to do, remember, you are not clothed with the authority to do what you are trying to do. Because what you are trying to do is indirectly serving the member in the chamber. If the member is aware that there's a court injunction against him and he decides to come here to be sworn in, it is a matter for him and the court, but it is not for you, because you as a chair, your duty is to tailor us through the election, but you are not clothed with the authority to tell us or to serve a member in the chamber. So please be mindful that you yourself, as chair, you are involving yourself in an illegality. You are involving yourself in an illegality. You are not clothed with the power or the authority to do what you are doing. So please, yours is to draw the attention of the House, but you cannot restrain the member because the member has not been served. And if the member, like someone is claiming was in court, the member was not in court. And if the member is aware and he claims he's not aware, it is a matter for him and the court. And the court can find him contempt and charge him whatever. But it is not for you to try to serve him in the chamber. So the steps you are taking, Mr. Clark, Chairman, you are absolutely wrong. You are absolutely wrong. That is not none of your business at all.
Well, that was Muntaka Mubarak, who was the minority chief whip in the 7th Parliament. In this current Parliament, he is, I can say, going to be maintained as a whip on the NDC side, speaking there, accusing the clerk of Parliament of perpetrating an illegality. The arguments are beginning, but there is some semblance of calm now. And what we see is that the clerk itself is a lot of people have surrounded him still. People talking to him still on this. Where are we? Where we are was at the point where Chairman Sabonsu had also gotten up to propose Professor Michael Quay as a candidate for next Speaker of Parliament. He had read out Michael Quay's credentials and had been seconded. Now, this also followed when the NDC side also put forward their own candidate. This is Alban Bagbin. Now, what the rules say, the standing orders say, is that once he has done it, both men names had come forward and had been seconded, they had to move straight into secret balloting for these two individuals. But what has held this up, and Winston, I just checked my time. We are almost 2 hours into the life of the 8th Parliament, and they haven't even begun the first order of the first business with the Constitution prescribed to be the voting. As we see now, there's no clear view of what to do next. But the clerk has been categorical that he will not and cannot recognize the member of parliament elect for Assin-North.
Chairman, I have already seconded the motion by Honorable Oseche Mensah-Bonsu.
All right.
Yes, so suffice to reiterate that an earlier submission by Honorable Harun Edrusu, which invitation made a demand on you to provide a proof of service. That proof of service is always in the bosom of the bailiff. So, Mr. Chair, just for the records, so that we are all satisfied, that you as a recipient of a court process cannot have the proof of service. It is held by the bailiff, which is in her administrative records. That is the law. That is the law. Sit down. Chairman Clerk, we have to respond. We have to respond to that national duty that there is no interregnum in the governance leadership of the country Ghana. Therefore, this event is also time-bound. Chair Clerk, it is my contention and submission that the Honorable James Jache Kwesen was not in court, and you yourself have admitted that you did not serve him the process. Under the circumstances, let him err on the side of law and bear the consequence in court. So let him take the oath, because he's not been served any process. He will appear before court. For the merits of the matter to be determined. Because, Chairman Clerk, I'm not sure you are clothed even with the powers of the ruling that you made as Clerk Chairman. Nowhere in our standing orders and in the Constitution. But allow him, since you yourself admit that you didn't serve him process, and it is not true that he was in court, we know how he got here. He's not been served. So let him err on the side of caution. He will go to court and submit himself when the court so needs him. Leader, I so submit so that we make progress.
That's all.
That's good point. Clerk Chairman, this House cannot condone an illegality. There is even Amehu is here. Even Amehu is here. A judgment Amehu from a court of competent jurisdiction. Even Amehu beat up a baby. This parliament knows about it. You sit down. You are an illegality yourself. Sit down. You'll be complicit if you give a ballot to him because he's not supposed to hold himself as an MP. That will not vote. That will not vote. We will vote today. Mr. Chair. You are boring. Sit down. You are boring. Sit down. Yes, you mentioned Amehu. Amehu had an injunction. Until a court of competent jurisdiction revoked, quashes it as by the Supreme Court or on appeal is a binding order of the court. And please,
We who pass law here cannot lead to that. He came here, that's his matter, but this house cannot be part of an illegality. He is not supposed to hold himself up, and therefore,
please go out.
137, 136.
Move out, please. Go out. Go out.
Go out. Go out.
Honorable Aruna Igrisu, do you have the consent of the honorable?
Thank you very much.
Do you have the
Thank you very much,
Mr.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Clerk.
The consent of your
Mr. Chairman.
Please lay it on the table.
Mr. Chairman, we are all arguing and acting on the assumption that there is a parliament. Mr. Chairman, as we speak, if you read Article 93 of our Constitution, we still don't have a parliament. We still don't have a parliament. Mr. Speaker, we have a gathering of MPs-elect and a clerk of parliament with a very, very limited assignment. The assignment of overseeing the election of a speaker.
Yeah.
Mr. Clerk, the processes, the privileges, the immunities that members of parliament enjoy are the issues that are being debated here. But we are not yet members of parliament. We are not yet members of parliament. And therefore, your powers in relation to service of processes do not arise yet. They do not arise. And the injunction does not relate to you as a clerk. The injunction relates to a particular person. It is for the bailiffs to find that person and serve that person.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
It is for the bailiff to find that person and serve that person, because he is not yet a member of parliament. He is not yet. And so you have no jurisdiction over him. Assuming, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, that seated here, we are even to be presumed to be members of parliament. Your conduct amounts to attempting to serve a member of parliament whilst he is in parliament. Assuming that we are even to be presented as members of parliament, your conduct amounts to attempting to serve a member of parliament whilst he is in parliament. And the effect of that, Mr. Clerk, is clearly unconstitutional. So the proper thing to do is to allow him to participate in the proceedings and later on deal with the consequences of the matter as is being advocated by the incoming majority leader of this house. So I urge you, Mr. Clerk, Chairman, that you allow the honorable elected MP to participate in the proceedings, and your limited job of allowing us to elect a speaker, let that happen. Afterwards, we then get sworn in by the speaker. We then become members of parliament, and within the context of being members of parliament, service on us can be sent through you. But as it is now, we are not members of parliament. If we have an issue with the court, let the court find us individually and serve us.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Ayine, the former Deputy Attorney General, was the one person that made reference to Article 117 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, it was Honorable Ayine who introduced Article 117 of the Constitution in this argument. And his argument was that service could be served on a member of parliament, one. Service could be served on the clerk of parliament. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, in this argument that is on the floor of parliament, Mr. Speaker, on this argument that is on the floor of parliament, if you listen to the argument just raised by Honorable Ayariga, it is in contravention of Article 117. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, they are asking you as a clerk to this House, when there has not been any speaker or the House being properly constituted, to give them proof of service on the matter. Mr. Speaker, proof of service on the matter does not lie in you. It is the court that has that proof of service. Mr. Chairman, you have been served as the clerk to Parliament, and you have brought in your evidence here as your evidence of being served. The onus per our law is not on you to give proof of service. And there is an order of a high court, a court of competent jurisdiction. And the honorable member, during the arguments or debates on the floor, confidently rose to show himself in defiance of the court's ruling that he should not hold himself as an MP-elect. Mr. Chair, and that is in direct contravention of the Constitution and the rules of this House. And it's actually contempt of the court. So, Mr. Chairman, I strongly believe that your evidence that you brought here is good enough. The member of the elect, member of parliament elect, who is not supposed to hold himself as such, should bow his head down in shame and walk out of this chamber honorably, because he is in contempt of the court and in contempt of this House. Mr. Chair, I think that your earlier ruling, you have ruled on this matter, and your earlier ruling stands. If they want to come and challenge it, the rules are clear. Come by a substantive motion. I rest my case, Mr. Chair.
Shame!
Nobody's going to be called in this house again, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Clark, let's get on with the voting. Let's go. What are we still here? We're debating and making all the noise in the world. Let's get on with it, for Christ's sake, Mr. Clark. You are the clerk. Please take the handle of this matter and let's get on with it. Stop my debate.
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark. Oh, Chairman. Hey, I have something to say. How can you let Ayariga's case go? Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead and see it.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Why did Kate come for him? Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, why? Roasting. Goes off. Go and tell the wife. Honorable members elect, are there any other nominations? I then proceed. Honorable members elect, Article 104(4) of the Constitution provides that where, and I quote, where Parliament is considering a bill to amend the Constitution or where the voting is in relation to the election or removal of any person under this Constitution or under any other law, voting shall be in secret. There being more than one nomination, I am enjoined under Article 1044 of the Constitution, as well as Orders 91 and 110 of the Standing Orders, to proceed to conduct the election by secret ballot. Honorable members-elect shall be called in alphabetical order to proceed to the dispatch box, to be given ballot papers, to record their vote by writing the name of the person or by ticking the name of the person for whom they intend to vote. Honorable members-elect, kindly note that you can only vote for a person who has been duly nominated and seconded. May I also inform you that this is a secret ballot, and therefore you are required to fold your ballot paper so that the name written on it is not seen by any other person when casting your vote. Thank you. I now invite the ballot boxes and the booth to be brought.
So you're live still here on Joy 99.7 FM. You're also live on the JoyNews channel. You are live with us on Facebook, on the JoyNews channel on Facebook. You're live also on YouTube, myjoyonline.com. What we are seeing now is the voting booths have now been set up. After the chaos surrounding whether or not the MP-Elect for Assin-North can be allowed to participate in the proceedings, the process is moving on now. The clerk has made it clear that because of the court order served on him, he cannot allow him to participate. And so we are waiting to see when it gets to his turn, whether he will be called. Now, the process that is about to unfold, if you're watching us on TV and listening to us on